Hey guys, my name is Michael Joseph Hernandez Jr. and we're going to be talking about Jeet Kune today. So Jeet Kune is a type of mixed martial art. It is called the way of the intercepting fist. So Jeet Kune is all about making sure that you hit your opponent before he even gets a chance of hitting you. Like when he twitches his shoulder and he's about to hit you, you want to make sure you already hit him. Alright, so, and it's about the speed and the power. Now look, I'm going to do a couple demonstrations. See? So that's Jeet Kune Do. And also too, you're going to be practicing non-telegraphic movements. So like you're not going to be doing this because whenever you do that, people could read your punches and that's something that you don't want. Yeah, whenever you can, look up stuff about Bruce Lee and Michael J. White on how they did their stuff. Because I'm learning and I'm training from them. I've been learning from them and so many people argue about that weight and size matters. Weight and size does not matter because if you're heavyweight and you're heavy and then you're big, you can't like punch as quick. You can't, yeah, you can put down power, but you can't punch as fast. And I always tell people, weight and size does not matter. You could weigh 300 pounds and I could weigh 135 like Bruce Lee and punch you and make you fly into the air like Bruce Lee did. And you know what I mean? And this is what I always argue with people with is that weight and size does not matter in mixed martial arts. What matters is your technique, how much you know, and the speed and the power and how you put that power down. And it's just like a car. Let's say this, right? If a car has 3,000 horsepower and weighs 3,000 pounds, and then another car has the same amount of horsepower but weighs 2,000 pounds, who do you think is going to win the race? The car that weighs 3,000 pounds and has 3,000 horsepower, or the car that weighs 2,000 pounds and has 3,000 horsepower? The car that weighs less is going to dust the other car, no matter how much horsepower it has. If these two cars have similar horsepowers, the one with the lighter weight is gonna always win. And that's the thing. That's why Bruce Lee became so fast. Because if you think about it, look at this. If you think about it, right? My arm is medium size. Okay. If you think about it, right, and look at this. You see how that's like an arrow, and like all these big guys. If you're big, you know what I mean? That's heavy. Your arm is heavier. You're not gonna be able to punch as fast because you're trying harder to put your arm into punch through air, which you're trying to be like aerodynamic, like you're trying to punch, but that's gonna make you get tired easily. You're not gonna be as fast because you're not as aerodynamic. You know what I mean? It's just like an airplane and a missile. Why do you think the missile always catches up to the airplane or the fighter jet? Because the missile is so fast and it has like all this power and it's aerodynamic. You know what I mean? So it's the same thing with a human and a car. If you're a human and you're skinny but you're strong, and you're skinny, and then you also have a lot of strength and you have a lot of power and you know how to throw the power down, you have a lot of years in history of mixed martial arts and fighting, versus a guy who is 200 pounds and is huge, and has the same amount of years or more in fighting. Who do you think is going to win? The bigger guy who's stronger by maybe a tiny bit and that can't punch as fast? Or the guy with the skinnier and a lighter weight that could punch through air and punch through gravity and do all this different stuff because of his aerodynamics? Who do you think is going to win? The lighter class. The guy who's lighter, who could go faster. But this is what people misunderstand is if you're big, your arm is not aerodynamic. It's not as aerodynamic as it would be if you were skinny. You know what I mean? If you're skinny, it's like a point. You know what I mean? It's like you have a dart. A dart could go so fast, and like a missile. If you're skinny, you could go through the air, and you could like you could go through the air so fast because you're more aerodynamic. And your hands, they could push through the air easily, and this is what so many people misunderstand. I understand that there's so many people that think, oh, because you're bigger and you weigh more, you could generate like more force, you could punch, you could have more power. It's not always the truth. You might be able to have like a certain amount of power, but you're not going to be as fast, which means if you're not as fast, you're not going to have as much power because you're so big and you're trying to put all that weight to the floor. Like, it's just like a car. You're trying to put all that weight to the ground. And that's the problem with people. They're like, with a person, it's the same thing. If you're so heavy and you're trying to go fast, you know what I mean? You're trying to force your body to generate all this power and to put all that weight and all that like mass to the floor, which it's going to be much harder to do that. And you're not going to be as fast as a person that is skinny. They're so fast. They could easily, like, they could take you on. They could punch you all the time. Like Bruce Lee, he did 9 punches in 1 second. He punched 9 times in 1 second. Why do you think? Because he was one of them skinnier type of people who was lightweight and who was just as strong as a heavyweight and can punch just as powerful as a heavyweight. And he was super fast. He was a superhuman. You know what I mean? But that's also because he wasn't as big, and he said that himself too. He said, I could be big, but I don't want to be big, because if I'm big and I weigh more, I can't go as fast, and I can't fight as fast. And it's true. If you weigh less, you'll be able to fight so fast and so much faster, as opposed to where if you weigh more and you're stronger and all that, but you have the same amount of technique, you're not going to be able to punch as fast because you weigh more and you're trying to put all that power to the ground, and you're like, it's just your arms are heavy. I mean, think about it. A 320-pound man or a 350-pound man, like, think about how much they weigh. Think about where all the weight's coming from. Where's all the weight coming from? You know what I mean? Is it it's a mix of your arms, your legs, and your body. So your body can't go and it can't move as fast because you weigh so much. If you would just be like Bruce Lee and weigh only 135 pounds and be able to and do all this types of MMA and be able to know all this shit and get down the technique, get the discipline down, be able to do the non-telegraphic movements and do all this shit, you'll be able to punch. Like, you'll be able to punch in under a second. You'll be so fucking fast. And that's why Bruce Lee was so fast, because he did all that. He mastered all that. He also, he worked out 18 hours a day. He did a lot of stuff. And he invented Jeet Kune. He invented the 1-inch punch. And that 1-inch punch was powerful. That made someone fly 5 to 6 meters away from him when he did that 1-inch punch, and he mastered that. With the 1-inch punch, it's the torque that your wrist and your fist has. It's the torque with the wrist and in your hand, and your shoulder a little bit. Like, you got to be able to twitch your shoulder. I'm not sure if you saw, but it almost looked like when he did it, he kind of like pushed them. He kind of like pushed them a little bit as he was punching them with the 1-inch punch. Like, it's like a shove, but it's like a super quick, super powerful shove. And it's a mixture of a push and a shove with a punch. That's what the 1-inch punch is. It's a mixture of that. And being able to generate all that power and to knock someone off their feet, like just tremendously knock them off their feet, is insane. And if you learn how to do that and you master how to do that, because there's only like a certain amount of people in the world that actually mastered that 1-inch punch. I'm working on it still. I'm sure I'll get it eventually, because I don't stop until I get what I want. Jeet Kune I'm getting real good at. I'm not doing this. I'm actually, You know what I mean? I'm moving forward. My whole body movement's going forward. You know, like I'm not twitching. I'm not telegraphing. You know, so like, and I'm real quick. I can move out the way. I could duck. You know, I'm real fast. You know, like, I'm not saying I'm like Bruce Lee type fast, but I'm very sure that I could punch in 1 second, or I could possibly do 2 punches in 1 second. Now, I would never be able to do 9 punches in 1 second. I might be the most I might be able to do is three, but that's about it, and that's good enough. You know, if that's good enough for me, you know what I mean. But I might be able to do one kick in 1 second. I'm not sure. I gotta keep practicing, and I gotta, you know, do more science. I gotta practice on the science. I gotta look it up more and do more stuff. You know what I mean. There's still a lot that I have to learn. But it's in the right now. What I have to learn is I learned all the techniques. I learned what I need, what I need to do. But now I'm learning how to put the power down, and that's what I'm learning right now is how to put the power down and what to do that. So you make sure you run at least a couple miles a week. Do a couple sprints a week. Also do I don't know how many push-ups, do like 100 push-ups, you know, once a day or something like that. You know, work on your upper body, work on your legs. Don't do a lot of weight. Do less weight, more reps, get more definition. Don't do steroids. Make sure you drink water every day, all day. Don't do any drugs. Don't do any smoking. None of that bull crap, because that shit will make you like just fucking crazy. That will make you not even be able to do half of this shit, because you'll be out of breath so easily. One thing too, when you're fighting, don't hold your breath in. Don't breathe like normally. You have to you kind of have to go with the because if you breathe if you're holding your breath in and you're not breathing as quick or whatever as your body's moving, you're gonna run out of energy quickly. Make sure you stay fit. You know, make sure you don't get out of energy quickly. Make sure you learn the discipline before you learn any type of MMA. Make sure you learn all the statistics. Make sure you learn all the techniques, and make sure when you fight you're not angry, because an angry mind is a narrow mind. Because I did it. You remember I told you in the beginning of this video, I did it, and when I was angry, you know, I became the mini Incredible Hulk, because I used to get into street fights and fights in school a lot back in the day. I was abused. I was bullied a lot, and that's what made me want to get into mixed martial arts. Similar situations to Bruce Lee's, and to most people's who do this stuff. Just, you know, make sure when you're fighting you're not angry. Make sure you're focusing. Make sure your opponent does not get to even touch you. That's what you need to make sure. Make sure your opponent does not even get to touch you. And with Jeet Kune Do, practice Jeet Kune Do and master it. Make sure you punch your opponent before he even gets to punch you. As soon as you see just a tiny bit of movement, punch them and get them straight out. Okay? And just make sure you do everything that I'm telling you to do. Do these skills, and you'll be set. You'll be mini Bruce Lee. All right. Yet again, my name is Michael Joseph McManus Jr. I study all these types of mixed martial arts every day. I do all these fitnesses that I told you guys to do at least more than enough times a week. So just do what I tell you to do. I'm only 18, but I know a lot about what I'm talking about. There's people that argue with me almost all the time that saying, oh, you're only 18, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. No, that's because you guys have never been and have never done the shit that I'm doing, and you don't understand it, so don't even try. And if you don't understand what I'm telling you, go ask Michael J. White yourself, or ask Jackie Chan. One of them might be able to better explain it than I can, because they've been in the octagon, they've been in the fighting area way more years than I have. But I'm just learning quickly of the stuff that they learned in years. I'm just learning quicker than what they learned in all them years. I'm just learning faster than they are, because I'm watching this stuff on YouTube. I'm watching closely on what they're doing. I'm watching closely on their techniques, on how they punch, how they do their moves. I'm learning their moves, and they don't even know that I'm learning it. Um, but they'll know, they'll know someday because I hope to do some tournaments with them before they die. I want to at least spar with a couple of them. Yeah, just whenever you can, come look at this footage. This footage. Well, not footage. I can't speak today sometimes. Come look at the footage. Please subscribe to my channel and do whatever you could do and just look at my videos and everything and just please follow me and do what you can and learn from this. All right. I love you guys. Peace, everyone. Have a great night and enjoy the rest of your day because I think it's kind of like morning time now. All right. Bye bye.